Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a guide and well test kind of video on chickens. We are going to find out if chickens are actually worth doing and how you should feed them. So we're going to take a look at all that. So a couple things we're going to look at. Well, first off, let's just go up to a pen here. We right click to buy. There's only one type of chicken. These are adult chickens, baby chickens. We're going to look at from baby all the way up and through. So we're going to see when the best time is to sell them. If you are planning to sell them, we're also going to see kind of how long it takes them to grow up and everything like that. We're not looking at roosters. They liven up your chicken coop. They are strictly decorative. So I don't recommend using them unless you want them for like realism or something else. But yeah, so what I did was, well, I put a chicken in each of these 3 pens. Now, why 3 pens? Well, if we go in here, there's only one thing that they actually need, chickens that are in a pen like this. Now, they do require, I believe it's water if we go animals. The chicken pens I'm using, by the way, are these guys right here, the standard ones in game. So they'll either take wheat, barley, or oats. Or excuse me, wheat, barley, or sorghum. I apologize. Well, even the chicken pasture says the same thing. So it might actually just all be the same across the board. But we're going to use these guys just to have them set up. So the reason we're doing 3, I'm going to feed 1 wheat, 1 barley, and 1 sorghum. They shouldn't be affected at all since it's all one category. All of them should have the same results. The only thing that's going to differ is the cost of the feed, because obviously barley's the cheapest, wheat is kind of a mid-tier, and then sorghum's going to be your more expensive one. Now, I'm just going to document all 3 different ones just so we can confirm that they do not matter, because then if they don't matter, you might as well grow barley if you're planning to do chickens, because you're going to get a very high yield and you're going to be able to feed your chickens more effectively. But if it does matter, then maybe it's worth it to do sorghum. I will also run the numbers on if you're going to buy your feed from the store, such as, well, the wheat feed here, which is just wheat 1,000, but again, very expensive. There is a big bag of it in here as well, and that's even a little bit more expensive if you do big bags that way. So we're going to take a look at the feed that way if you did it that way, and just kind of calculate those numbers. I'm also going to take a look at how much eggs are produced, how many chickens they reproduce over time, and everything like that. And kind of like if you've seen in my other test videos, we're going to take a look at all that information. Now, one thing I want to note, this ratio here, if you are playing on a different map, I'm on just a base game map, I'm on Elm Creek. If you're playing on a different map and you have a different ratio of effectiveness in here, this test is not going to work for you. This is only going to be, these results are only going to work on a map that shows grain as 100% effective. That is the only map that these guys are going to work on. If it's just a standard map or has standard results, what we've kind of learned from doing the pig test and the cows test is you may actually get different results if you're playing on a map that has different ratios. So if you are trying to use my test videos to work with your animals, make sure that your food ratios and what the chickens or whatever animal it is require is the same as what your map is requiring, because modders do have the ability to change that when they're making a new map. So this will work on all base game maps, but it may not work on every modded map. So just be aware of that. But yeah, we're going to go quite far, I think, probably 2, 3, 4, 5 years maybe, see how far we get and how many eggs we have and all of that good stuff. So yeah, we're going to go from there. So let's go ahead and get this, kicked off. Time is at 0. Set to 0. Let's go ahead and put some wheat in this guy. I don't know how much they're going to take for a full can of food here. Okay. Fair amount. Let's get some barley put in this bad boy here. And again, my assumption is going to be that barley is going to be the best feed just because it's cheaper to produce. So we'll take a look at that. Now, in terms of production and everything like that, the value I'm going to place in these crops as if you took these crops and sold them at their highest value instead of putting them into your chicken pen to feed them. I'm going to run that test as if we were playing on normal economy mode as well. That's the numbers we're going to use, so just be aware of that. But there we go. So they all have 9,000 liters of feed, which is just standard, so we're all good there. So by the next day, we'll take a look at productivity, eggs, health, puberty, and how much they have consumed. And I'll document that day by day as we go forward. So again, this test is going to take me, usually it takes me about 2 or 3 hours to run these tests. So I'm going to go ahead and run the test, and I'll bring you guys back in with a nice, lengthy, detailed results of kind of what we found out. So I'll see you guys here shortly.
All right, welcome back in, everyone. So kind of some interesting results, actually. This kind of surprised me a little bit, and I'll show you that in a second here. I did make a nice little spreadsheet to kind of show you everything on there. But right now, I kind of just let the eggs and the chickens kind of go crazy. But our original chicken is now 52 months old, still worth $25, which is where I discovered they kind of top out with their age. So I just kind of, after I finished the test, I just kind of ran with it for a while to see if anything would change there, and it really didn't. But now let's go ahead and take a look at that spreadsheet so we can kind of take a look at some of the results that I have for us here. So as you can see on here, if I go over here with my mouse, we have a few different categories on here. So we have the age of the chicken. So obviously that's going to be how old they are. 0 is just the initial, that's their initial value when you buy a chicken at 0 months. They're $0, 0% health, 0% puberty, productivity. And you obviously don't have to feed them because you just purchase them. They don't produce eggs. No production change in terms of how much the production is going up because, well, they're not producing anything. There's no pre-production amount and they're not reproducing, obviously. So those are the different categories. Under food, you can see that I had 3 chicken pens, so I kept track of the food for wheat, barley, and sorghum, the 3 things you can feed them. When you feed them the purchased food, it is wheat, so it'll count under the wheat category for how much they're going to eat. So they continued to go up in puberty, as you can see about here, and then became a full-grown adult at 6 months. At 6 months, a couple interesting things happened. First off, it bumps right up to 50% reproduction, because these chickens reproduce once every 2 months, which is really fast. And then the other thing you got is this kind of initial 20 egg bonus. So they produce 20 eggs right off the bat. This is the total eggs in this column here. This is the change in production day to day. So obviously they produced 20, they went up by 20. And then from that point on, after they're an adult, they produce 5 eggs, 11 eggs, 5, 5, 6, 10, 5, 6, 10, 5, 5, 6. There's not really a pattern, which kind of surprised me. It seems like there's a range, or maybe they're just random. I honestly don't know. So that was kind of interesting. And I'll kind of talk about how I solved that problem with looking at our calculations here in a second. Food-wise, it doesn't matter what you feed them. They will eat from the time they're 0 all the way to an adult. They'll eat 6 liters of food a day, no matter what. So that's what I have for you there. And if you're feeding them any different one type of food, obviously they're going to be 100% health, 100% productivity. Once they hit 6 months, they become worth $25, and that's where they're going to stay for the rest of their life. And obviously, this is the reproduction over here. So there's that. Pretty straightforward, actually, in terms of all this. Now, if we take a look at a few things over here, you don't have to transport chickens, but in base game, there's no chicken transport trailer. I know there's mods that allow you to do this, so I did include the transport costs into these purchase costs here. And the selling costs over here. So transport, if you buy a young chicken, it's $6 to get that thing in your pen. If you buy an old one, it's $55 because it's $50 plus $5 transport. This one's $5 plus $1 transport, which is pretty straightforward there. If you sell them at $25, which is their max value here, you're going to get $20 because there's a $5 transport fee. If you sell a baby chick that's just born, you're going to get $1 because it's worth $2, and you get one, and one goes for transport. This is the cost I use for wheat, barley, sorghum, and chicken feed per liter. So if you wanted to put a different price in there, you definitely could. By the way, I'll leave this link down below in the description so you guys can take a look at this. You won't be able to edit it. You might be able to make a copy of it and then edit that one. And it should have all the formulas in there and everything like that. But yeah, and this is the cheaper form of chicken feed. So there's one that is $1.50 a liter. This is the one that's $1.40 a liter. So just be aware of that. And this is your sell price for eggs. So down here, I kind of do some different things to calculate here. So initial cost, if you buy the chicken young, because I wanted to also look at, should you buy the chicken at age 0 or 6 months? Because 6 months obviously is $50, age 0 is $6. So if you buy them at age 0 and you feed them wheat, barley, or sorghum, you're actually going to make money. This, I know it says negative, but this is the cost to raise them. So the cost is negative 19, but it's not really, it's actually a positive. You're making money off of them due to how little they need to eat and how much their value increases, as well as the bonus 20 eggs that you get. So I calculated the 20 eggs and then the bonus when they turn 6 months. I did not calculate these bonus 20 eggs, is what I'm calling them, into the profit per month, which is what I have here. The profit per month per chicken here. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Initial cost of an old chicken is obviously $55, but then they immediately start reproducing eggs. So if you needed eggs right away, this would be worth it, but you're actually going to make more if you buy chickens super young right off the bat and raise them for 6 months. It doesn't take very long, and then they'll start making stuff for you. I'm going to edit that capital A that I put in there for no reason. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. Easy peasy. Okay, so now the profit right here. What I used to calculate the profit is I averaged these ones, not including the 20. So I took all of these, added them together, and then divided them by the number that are here, which I think is let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 months. So divided them by 13 months, and then I also took out the food per day, which is 6 liters, and I did it for each. So if you're feeding them wheat, barley, and sorghum, if you're feeding a chicken wheat, you're going to make $11.64 approximately profit per month per chicken, and if it's barley, $11.94, so you're making a little bit more, and sorghum, you're making less at $10.14. This is the profit for 360 chickens, which is how much the base game pen will hold at max. So you're going to make $41.92 per month if you have 360 chickens, feeding them wheat, $4,300 if you're feeding them barley, and if you're feeding them sorghum, $3,600. So I would basically only ever feed them wheat or barley, probably preferably barley. I'd only feed them sorghum if you don't have anything else to feed them and you're just need to feed them something. You'll still make money, but it's just not as much, if that makes sense. I mean, this to barley is a pretty significant change in profit there. It's like $600 a month for your pen. So might as well not do that if you don't have to. But there you guys go. That is pretty straightforward. I also did not calculate selling the new chickens that you get into this calculation because they reproduce so rapidly. They're not worth a lot. It would bump us up quite a bit. Obviously, if you had 360 chickens, they're not going to reproduce because there's nowhere for them to go. But if you reproduced 120 chickens a month or every other month, so 60 chickens a month, let's say if you have 120 chickens, that's an extra $60 in your pocket a month in addition to that. And obviously, if you raise them up to be worth $25, that's going to be even more over here. So just something to consider there. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys right here. This is kind of my little chickens profit test, so you guys can take a look if it's actually worth doing. They're not a very huge profitable animal. You're not going to get rich off of them probably. But what I will say, unless you get a bunch of them, is they're very easy to take care of. All you have to do is dump food in their pen. That's it. Pretty straightforward to take care of them. So they're very easy to take care of. But yeah, that is what I have for you guys there. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.